to get right into these CFP semifinal matchups, which are tasty. So, Peach Bowl, #1 Georgia versus #4 Ohio State. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think Ohio State can win that football game. I think LSU showed what Ohio State must do to try to contend with Georgia, and they're already good at that. Throw the ball down the field. Make sure you get the ball into Marvin Harrison Jr.'s hands. Take advantage of Emeka Egbuka. Take advantage of Julian Fleming. And now you have time to get healthy. That is the most important part for Ohio State. We have not seen a fully healthy Ohio State since week 1. What if they get Jackson Smith and Jigba back for this game and you got him matched up one-on-one with Keely Ringo? You're going to take that. You take that with Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. You take that with Emeka Egbuka right now. What if they have a healthy Travion Henderson and a healthy Mayan Williams? And now they know they can trust Dallin Hayden, This is outstanding. This is great. You're looking at a team that is fiery. And as Ryan Day has said throughout the week, it's a new lease on life. We have a second opportunity to not just redeem ourselves, but to possibly get to the national championship to beat the one team in the world that Ohio State wants to beat every single time they line up and play. So you could put down that John Cooper narrative, and I might feel some kind of way about that because John Cooper was at Tulsa before he was at Ohio State. But Ryan Day has been nothing but outstanding at Ohio State, and frankly, the only thing that is missing from his resume there is winning a national championship. You're 2 games from that. You just got to go over the top of the juggernaut that is the Georgia Bulldogs. And frankly, if they are able to beat Georgia, they would show up as the favorite because that's simply not something anybody else has been able to do. Now, it's going to be about Jim Knowles trying to put together a defense that can contain that Georgia running attack and really try to push back that great Joe Moore Award, I think, winning offensive line. I really think Georgia's got the best offensive line in football, and I know that Michigan's doing what they're doing. But I watched those guys have 3 different tailbacks back there, and it doesn't matter who's got the ball. They're going to find open lanes for those guys to run through, and you got to be able to stop those gaps. You got to have Tommy Eichenberg coming downhill. You got to have Tanner McAllister coming downhill. You got to have Ronnie Hickman wrapping up people in space. You're going to have Zach Harrison and JT Tuimoloau playing their best football. Mike Hall Jr.'s got to show up for you. Teron Vincent's got to show up for you. You have to have a game of games defensively to give the offense an opportunity here, because if you start slow, it could be downhill by the time you get into the 3rd, 4th quarter, because one of the things that I have been really fascinated with these teams that have been playing outstanding football, Michigan and Georgia, is that they are able to lean on you in the second half, unlike any other football team in the entire country, because they trust their offensive line so much and they trust their tailback so much. They will continue to be patient and hand the ball to the tailback and say, hey, we're just going to say that it is hard for you to get pounded on down after down after down and us not take your will to fight back. And that's exactly what Michigan has done and what Georgia has done. And Ohio State's going to either have to get out in front in a hurry, or they're going to have to establish their own rush attack and get outstanding defense to win this game. The line I'm looking at right now is 6.5 to start. I expect that to close because there's a lot of Buckeye fans that wanted this matchup and feel like they have a great chance to unseat the defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. #2, we have the Fiesta Bowl, right? Michigan versus #3. That's, I think, the dunker spot for TCU, because as much as I am happy for Texas Christian getting into the college football playoff, I'm looking at them and I'm going, if you are behind against this team, I don't think you're going to be able to Max Duggan your way into a win. I don't know that you're going to be able to just chuck it downfield. I watched Will Johnson have 2 interceptions in 1 half of football. I watched Charlie Jones go off. I watched Aiden Connell go off. It didn't seem to matter because they are not going to let you get into the end zone. And if you do what you did against Kansas State and you're on a 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, and you don't want to hand it to Max Duggan, I'm going to question what Sonny Dykes is really thinking about there, because that is the heart and soul of your team. It really is about getting those matchups, though, for them to go. So as much as we don't talk about it, TCU's got the best wide receiver core that we just don't mention. I know everybody is up on Quentin Johnston, and they should be. 6'4", can high jump 6'7", might be the second best wide receiver available in the upcoming NFL draft. But they lose Savion Williams. They lose Darius Davis. They lose my favorite in Tay Barber, who reminds me so much of Brandon Cooks. And when that offense is humming right along and Garrett Riley has it going, they're going to find those guys deep. They're going to hand the ball to Kendre Miller. They're going to hand the ball to DeMarcado, and they're going to try to score quickly and in bunches. Very, very excited to see Sharon Moore on the other side of Garrett Riley. Very excited to see Jesse Minter on the other side of Joe Gillespie. It's going to be a fun Fiesta Bowl. One note to get back to that Peach Bowl real quick is somehow Georgia keeps getting these home games that matter, right? Because that's a game in Atlanta. Athens is about an hour away, all right? We saw what happened the last time they had a game in Atlanta earlier this year. They stopped a mud hole in Oregon and walked it dry, set the tone for the rest of the season. That is going to be difficult for Ohio State to overcome, but I expect Ohio State fans to show up en masse and to try to make themselves heard. Maybe we'll talk about what the fans might be able to do or might not be able to do, frankly, to give their team an edge in this. But I'm very excited about these college football playoff semifinals, and we'll talk more about those on the #1 college football show.
Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.